Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn web development and become a better coder, start now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Alright, welcome back. In this video we'll discuss how we can control the document flow using the CSS display property. So here we've got some HTML elements, namely we've got a couple of block level elements, h1 and div. Then we've got a couple of inline elements, two span elements, and again we finish with another two block elements. And we can see that that's really the case right here, because we're using the border1 class that we're implementing on every single HTML element that we have in our HTML structure. And using these borders, which have the 5 pixel solid gray border setting, we can see that indeed all the block level elements stretch the full width of the page regardless of how much content they've got, and all the inline level elements are extending only to the width of the content that they hold. So this is all expected behavior. But we've also used another class here, display inline, on all of these elements, but as you can see we've actually commented it out, so even though it's there it doesn't take effect, right? So what we can do is now we're going to remove the comments, and all of a sudden all our elements become inline elements, as can be seen right here. So this is one big takeaway. There is actually already display set on each of these elements, and that is set by the browser by default. So by default the browser is setting h1 and div to be block level element and each span element to be inline element. That's how it's rendering it on this web page. But as we've already seen, we can override this default browser behavior using CSS and, of course, as we've already learned, preferably CSS classes. And that's all there is to it. For this example, we have only a few conclusions. We've added display inline class name to all the elements on this page. And of course, as we've already seen, we don't have to use display inline. We discussed this in an earlier video in this video series. I think it was video 3. We could have said just DI, for example, as an abbreviation. And then we could use either the display inline or the DI class, and the result would still be the same. Alright, so that's one conclusion. And another conclusion is, okay, this is something that we've already learned. We have a dot in front of a class name when we defined it, and then we just add a CSS declaration right here, and we give our display the value of inline. And also, as we already mentioned in the previous videos, if we use something like, for example, none, everything would be gone, right? Unless, of course, we weren't using that class at all, and then it would appear. So these are a few things to get us started with using the CSS classes to kind of control the flow of the document by switching the built-in display properties on various block level and inline elements. Alright, that's it. In the next video, that's also going to be very interesting, we're going to use a similar example, but in this next video we'll switch completely this behavior. So all the inline elements will set to display block, and all the block elements will set to display inline. Alright, so see you there.